Greetings, my noble knights. It is I, Blaze Templar, and of course I'm going to cough immediately, which is going to be annoying. But thankfully I managed to pause it right before the cough happened. Sorry, still dealing with that. It's kind of perpetual, it feels like. Anyway, let's get right into some Pokemon Showdown Gen 1 OU. It's actually been kind of fun going back to older generations and playing them over some of the newer things. So let's go ahead and just get started. Anyway, Taekwon Leap was the name. I decided just to go straight for the Thunder Wave, and I get an immediate paralysis, which is nice. So I'm going to go into Snorlax because I know the paralysis is coming, and Snorlax can take it, and then I can explode on him. I mean, well, unless that happens. So I get paralyzed, special defense drop, and of course that turns it into a 2-hit KO. I'm going to go in Executor and just go straight for the explosion. I want Alakazam out of the way. It's a big threat. I can go into my own Alakazam. I'm going to Thunder Wave the Chansey. Unfortunately, I don't get to avoid the paralysis despite my best intentions. And we trade paralysis there, and I'm just going to go into Rhydon, avoid the electric move, go into Victory Bell, and this is going really quick. So in comes my Alakazam, and that's much easier to keep up with. He misses his Wrap, which is a little unfortunate for him, but hey, it's not the most accurate move in the world. Alakazam can take it out with the Psychic, and I guess he decided that was it. So, kind of a rough start there, but we're going to keep going anyway. And I thought I got everyone switched around, but apparently I didn't. So anyway, in comes the Alakazam matchup again, and of course, Psychics, they're always just going to go for the Thunder Wave because, hey, it works, and there's no substitute being able to block paralysis. Anyway, my final move of choice was Body Slam just to try to get paralysis spread. Unfortunately, he gets a turn 1 special attack drop, but that's not exactly what happens. Anyway, he's going to get another special drop, and I'm going to get paralyzed. I can't stay in with that special drop. I'm going to go into Alakazam because I can recover off the damage and keep in a nice state. So I'm going to recover, go for the Psychic, kind of hoping that I get a special drop on him, just force him to switch out. It doesn't happen that way. I go for the Body Slam, kind of feeling he might want to switch. He does, in fact, switch, but I don't get the paralysis, which is why you run Body Slam. Anyway, I'm going to go for Body Slam just because it does a little bit more damage, and if he switches again, all that jazz. But he gets another special drop, and this time, critical hit, and another special drop. This is getting quite old. I Mega Drain just to try to get a little health back. Unfortunately, not going to do enough, and forced to switch back to the Alakazam, recover off the damage. So this part of the battle is actually a little tedious, but he decides he's had enough, goes into Zapdos. I'm going to Psychic it, and I decide I'm going to stay in Thunder Wave because getting this thing paralyzed will help. I know I have a hard check in Rhydon, but just getting it paralyzed right away would be good. And now I can Body Slam, knowing he's not going to want to stay in, and I get the Starmie with that paralysis. I'm able to go straight back to Alakazam and recover off all that damage. Wow, I can't talk today. Feels like my jaw's unhinged. Anyway, gonna go into Executor, dodge a Blizzard, which is fortunate for me. He decides to go for the special attack there, drops my special attack again. Special, I should say. Not special attack, they only have the special stat. Gonna go for another Giga Drain. Unfortunately, thanks to my special drop, not gonna take it out. Gonna get Blizzarded and paralyzed, so he's gonna get the cheap KO, but hey, that's what happens with Gen 1. Paralysis is spread everywhere, and Parahacks ruins your day. So anyway, I'm going to go to Persian, take it out with the Slash, and I know the paralysis is coming, so I can just go straight back to the Alakazam, deal with it, and just start spamming Psychic out, trying to get the special drop. He's getting some paralysis, I'm getting some paralysis, he gets that Psychic off, and he special drops me again. Now, I know I can take one Psychic with Rhydon, and even if he special drops me, that's fine, I can EQ it and destroy it. But he goes into Victory Bell. Earthquake still does a ton of damage. I'm not staying in on Victory Bell. I know these things like to run the Sleep Powder. And he's going for the Wrap. Unfortunately for him, he misses Wrap both times. And so I'm able to just take it out with the Psychic. Now I'm just going to go into the Snorlax, take the Earthquake. I have Blizzard on the Snorlax just to help deal with the rocks. And I actually survive that final rock slide and go for the explosion. No, I'm going to die anyway. Might as well get off as much damage as I can. And then I'm able to finish off with Tauros. I probably should have just gone into Persian, kind of hid the Tauros, but I didn't. But I can just go right on. It is the hard check to Zapdos in this generation, Rhydon and Golimar. So I'm able to just go for that Rock Slide. This time I decided to switch it up to Body Slam. If he switches, that's great. I could possibly get the para off and all that jazz. Anyway, I'm going to go to Tauros. As, you know, Tauros mirror matchup isn't the worst case scenario. And I still have the good check to his Alakazam in my own. So that's my plan there. Unfortunately, he switches as I get paralyzed, Hyper Beams my Alakazam into Oblivion. That is really unfortunate. But now I'm just going to go for the slashes because this is the Crit Kitty. Crit Kitty does take out the Alakazam, no problem. And that leaves, of course, the Tauros. I'm going to go for Slash. It's a crit again, just 39%. Not enough to knock it out in 2 hits, or 1 hit, but he goes for the Hyper Beam. I am faster, and Hyper Beam will not take me out. So Persian does kind of clean up at the end, and it does a pretty good job. I thought about going into Tauros, but not really worth the speed tie risk. And Persian can take a little bit of a hit in Gen 1. The overall, you know, power level was quite a bit lower, so hey, worked out all right. And holy smokes, these normal speed commentaries are a pain in the neck. So let's keep going. Anyway, Mike Droid was our next opponent. He leads his Executor. I lead the Alakazam. I know the Sleep Powder or the Thunder or the Spore is coming, but I'm just gonna Thunder Wave this thing. Alakazam actually isn't a bad choice to deal with Executor. I'm gonna go Wake Up turn 1 though, thankfully, and Gen 1 sleep mechanics are a little different. I do want to explain them a little bit for those who aren't familiar. In Gen 2 and onward, the turn you wake up, you actually get to attack. Gen 1, you had to use your entire turn waking up. So I decided, you know what, since I woke up, I'm just going to hard switch into my own Executor. I don't mind if Executor goes to sleep, if it gets paralyzed, etc. And the other thing that kind of made me stay in after the sleep was not only to possibly wake up, which I did get the early wake, which was nice, but because a lot of times Executor will immediately click Stun Spore the turn after, just because it's a good tool to use, it's rather quick and easy and all that jazz. So instead of doing that, I decided to play the tricky game instead, and it works out in my favor. So I'm awake, and unfortunately for him, he does in fact get paralyzed on my switch turn, so he can't Stun Spore me, etc. I'm just going to go for the Psychic, get the special drop, which is also nice, and he misses his Sleep Powder. So I actually feel bad, but hey, he ended up getting the Blaze Luck there, so I guess for once it was in my favor. I'm not going to complain. Did get a nice chunk of points for that, not that I really paid too much attention. And this was the last game that I had for today to show off, and we are slowing it down. Anyway, Cloyster versus Alakazam. You kind of know the drill by now. We're Thunder Waving this thing. So he goes for the Ice Beam, and honestly, Freeze is the most terrifying status in Gen 1 because you can never unthaw unless you're hit by a fire move, and honestly, fire moves aren't very good in Gen 1. So no one carries them. So, yeah, it's basically you're dead at that point. So I'm going to recover off all that damage, just keep Alakazam in a good state of health. I risk the freeze, which is bad, but in comes Dragonite. This thing is really a para wrapper. It doesn't really do anything else. So if I go ahead and paralyze it, I'll be fine. He Ice Beams, okay? And now I can just spam Psychic. I'll still be faster even after he paralyzes me, but he isn't going for the paralysis, which really surprised me. So, yeah, I don't get that. Anyway, he's going to go into the Zapdos as I go for Stab Psychic. And, yeah, this is why the Psychic type was just so ridiculous in Gen 1. I'm going to paralyze the Zapdos. I don't mind if I take a physical hit on Alakazam. I do, of course, but I don't mind. I'd rather get the paralysis off right away, then go into Rhydon. And I do get the first turn paralysis on the Zapdos. So that cleared out that, and that was actually the first Gen 1 battle that I had since the ladder reset. So, you know, things like that happen. And, yeah, I didn't get to show much of my team there, but, you know, we saw the rest of it on the other battles. So, yeah, we had some fun with that. Anyway, I will talk to you guys next time with more Pokemon Showdown when that comes about. But until then, goodbye.